Hey friends, and welcome back to Transaction Thursdays. I'm Christina, and if you are constantly switching between tasks, checking emails while you're on calls, and you're feeling like you are doing everything, but you are accomplishing absolutely nothing, this episode is going to be a game changer. Today, we're going to be busting the myth of multitasking. And the truth here is that multitasking does not make you productive, it makes you scattered, stressed, and stuck. In real estate, you're already handling, clients, contracts, deadlines, and chaos. So multitasking is the silent killer of your time, your focus, and your sanity. By the end of this episode, you are going to know exactly why multitasking is actually costing you more than you think, what's really happening in your brain when you try to do it all, and the simple shift that will help you get more done in less time. So let's get into it. Okay, let's start today with the hard truth, and that is that multitasking is a lie. So, your brain doesn't actually do two things at once. Okay, what it does is it switches back and forth really, really fast, and every time it switches, there's a cost. So, research shows that when you switch tasks, it takes your brain an average of 23 minutes to fully refocus. 23 minutes. So if you're answering an email and then you're hopping on a call and then you're checking a contract and then you're, replying to a text, you're not being efficient. You're actually like hemorrhaging your time and mental energy. And the kicker is you feel busy, you think you're being productive, but you're actually just spinning your wheels. So if you think about your typical day, you probably sit down to review a contract, but then, maybe a notification pops up. So you get on your phone, you check your email. That email reminds you, oh yeah, I need to make a phone call to that client. So you start dialing, but then you remember, oh my gosh, I didn't even send that disclosure from this morning. So you open a new tab and then another email comes in. Does this sound familiar? That's not productivity, that is reactivity. And the worst part about it is that at the end of the day, you are absolutely exhausted, but your to-do list is still there. Like you've only done maybe one or two things on your to-do list because you were never fully present for any one single task. So I want to break down for you what multitasking is actually costing you, because it's not just costing you time. It is actually costing you quality. When you're, splitting your attention between multiple things, you tend to make more mistakes. You tend to miss more details. You might send the wrong document, or maybe you forget to follow up. And, in real estate, small mistakes can cost you big. They can, make you miss a deadline. They can make you have an unhappy client. They can make you miss a document that was a really important document. So you can't afford to, have your quality drained. Cost number two is energy. So every time you're switching tasks, your brain is using your energy. By the end of the day, you're mentally drained, like you are mentally exhausted. And it's not because you worked hard, it's because your brain worked ineffectively, or inefficiently, I guess I should say. So your brain was working inefficiently because you're multitasking, you're switching between multiple tasks all day long, and it's draining your brain. And then the last one is stress. So when you're constantly jumping between tasks, your nervous system is actually staying in fight or flight mode. So your body is thinking that every single thing is urgent. And that chronic stress leads straight to burnout. Okay. I actually used to pride myself in being a great multitasker. Like I would be on a phone call with, like, let's say a lender. I would be drafting an email. I'd be reviewing an inspection report. I would be typing up the repair proposal. But then I started tracking my time and I realized that I am spending twice as long on these tasks because I keep having to go back through, reread things, redo work. I would rush through things. And that's when I made the shift to single tasking. Everything completely changed. So I structure my day in a way that I am focused on one task at a time. And even if that means setting a timer for you, that might, be a great thing for you to do. And we'll get to that in just a second, but that is how I structure my day. And I get so much more done in less amount of time. It's amazing. So what, you know, uh, if multitasking doesn't work, what does? Single tasking. It's also called monotasking or task batching. But here's how it works. So you pick the one task, you do it start to finish with no distractions, and then you're going to move on to the next task. I know it sounds really simple, but I promise you, if you do it, it will absolutely change your life. So, how do you implement this? Step number one, you time block your day. So, instead of just leaving your day open, willy nilly, open to chaos, scheduling blocks of time for, focus on specific tasks is ideal. So, for example, like maybe you do, or I'll just tell you what I do. So, for example, when I log on in the morning at 8:30, I run through my emails and I get rid of all of the junk first. And then I go back and I reply, in the order in which they came in so that I can get them all cleared out and my email inbox is cleared out. Now, that might take me, let's say, 30 minutes. So from 8:30 to 9 or 8:30 to 9, that's what I'm doing. And then I'll switch over to new contracts that have come in. So if I have any new contracts, let's say I have like 3 sitting there. Okay, that's going to take me probably 20 minutes of contract, probably less than that, but we'll just average 20 minutes of contract. So you've got an hour, right? 20, 40, 60, an hour. So 9 to 10, I'm working new contracts. And I'm not picking up my phone during this time. I'm not doing anything else. I'm time blocking my day, which leads me to step number 2, and that is turning off your notifications. And I mean it. Like, you close Slack, you silence your phone, you turn off email pop-ups. You are not ignoring people. You are protecting your focus so that you actually, in the long run, are serving them better. And then number 3, back to the timer, you can use a task timer. So you can set a timer for, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and you work on that one thing. When you're done with that one thing, you get up, go for a walk, get you something to drink, whatever, go outside, take a 5-minute break. Okay. This is the Pomodoro technique, and it is actually super effective. So when I switched to this system, personally, I went from feeling like I was drowning in work, like I was always behind. I definitely had the Sunday night dread. I was working past my hours that I was supposed to be working. I was working at night. I was answering phone calls in the morning before I was supposed to be logged on. I was trying to, like do everything all the time for everybody. And I was so, I don't want to say like scattered, but overwhelmed, I guess would be a better word. So overwhelmed. But when I switched, I went from that feeling like I was overwhelmed and drowning to finishing my transaction management in 20 minutes a day. I mean, I could finish the transaction management, the itinerary of daily tasks. Now, this doesn't include checking my emails and answering phone calls and doing all that stuff. That stuff is additional stuff, but I'm just talking about transaction management, period. That, sometimes it would take me all day to get through because I'm being pulled in 1,000 different directions during the day. No, I get on in the mornings and I do it in less than 20 minutes. And if it takes me 20 minutes, that's a lot, but usually less than like 10 to 15 because it's super simple. And it's not because I got faster, it's because I stopped wasting energy on task switching. All right, so let's do a quick recap. Multitasking is absolutely a myth. Your brain cannot do 2 things at once. It just completely switches like super, super fast, and every switch is costing you time, energy, and quality. So the solution here is single tasking. It is time blocking your day, turning off distractions, giving your full attention to one thing at a time. That is how you get more done. You feel less stressed. You actually finish your day with energy left over, not completely depleted. And you get your work-life balance back. So you can go from working 50, 60 hours a week to working less than 40 if you just do this one step. This one step could save you, I would go out on a limb here and say like 10 hours a week at least. If you just time blocked, if you just focused, if you set that timer and you dedicated, like I challenge you to dedicate like 1 week to this and see if you don't see a difference in how you feel, how you process things, and the amount of things that you can get done in less amount of time. And if you want a step-by-step system that actually takes this concept and applies it to your entire transaction workflow, that is exactly what we do inside of Transaction Freedom Accelerator. In 30 days, you would have a system that is streamlined. It eliminates the chaos. You can focus on what matters most, and that is serving your clients and getting your time and your life back. If you'd like to learn more, the link is in the show notes. I want to thank you for tuning in. Next Thursday, we're diving into how to build your command center, the one system that keeps you in control of everything. So until then, I challenge you to do less, accomplish more, and keep building your freedom.